Completing this task here will give you an indication of how you went with the first lesson in circular functions. And girls, if you get these questions wrong or lots of them wrong, can I highly recommend that you don't proceed with the next class, but rather go back to the drawing board on the first class. Okay, these skills here are absolutely crucial when it comes to working through this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to get is the sine of 90 degrees. Okay, so the basic process goes as follows. We draw up a unit circle. We work out where we are on the unit circle. Okay, so there we are on the unit circle. Here is 0 degrees. Okay, and there is 90 degrees, or pi on 2. And what I'm after then is the y value, or the y coordinate there. So the x is 0, the y is 1, so the sine of 90 is 1. All right, the cosine of 90, the cosine is just the x value at that coordinate point, so that's going to be 0. Okay, let's go cosine of 7 pi on 2. Okay, so cosine 7 pi on 2 is the same as the cosine of 6 pi on 2 plus pi on 2. Now, 6 pi on 2 is 3 pi. And remember what I said in the video about odd pi? Odd pi will always take us to this spot here. So that's where 3 pi is going to be. So I'm going to go another pi on 2 further than that, which will take me to there. Cosine is the x value at that point. So 0, -1 are the coordinates there. 0 is the value that we're after. Right, tangent of 3 pi on 2. Okay, so reminder that here is the tangent here. And what we're looking at is the tangent at 3 pi on 2. So there's pi on 2, 2 pi on 2, 3 pi on 2. What's the value of the tangent there? I.e., where would a line intersect the tangent? Okay, and it won't because they run parallel. So this one here is not 0. We say it's not defined at that point. Right, the tan of -360, which means go 360 around the unit circle, okay, in the clockwise direction. Okay, and that's where we are. Where are we going to intersect the tangent? It's going to be at 0. All right, the sine of pi. So here is 0, here's pi on 2, here is pi. So we want the sine, that's the y value at that point. So the x value is -1 and the y value is 0. Sine of pi is 0. Sine of 450. Okay, so what's 450? That's the sine of 360 plus 90. And 360 around the unit circle will just take me to there. So we're just going to end up back here and go another 90 degrees. So this is exactly the same as the sine of 90. We've worked that one earlier. That's 1. Okay, the sine of 3 pi on 2. So here's 0, here's pi on 2, 2 pi on 2, 3 pi on 2. We want the sine, which is the y value. That's going to be -1. Okay, the cosine of pi. So there's pi, and we want the cosine. That's going to be -1. Cosine of 360. We're going to go once around the unit circle or just stay where we are. And at this point here, we're going to look at our coordinates, which is when x is equal to 1, the y value is 0. So the cosine is the x value, that's 1. All right. So I hope you went all right with that. Just a couple of things to note. You usually can predict something about the sign of the answer being either positive or negative when this is a negative or things like that. That doesn't work with trig functions. Okay, so there's no correlation between the sign of the angle that you're after and the actual answer. So notice that this is positive, that gives you a negative. This is positive, it gives you a negative. This is negative, it gives you 0. This is positive, it gives you positive. There's no correlation between those values. So don't even think about it as, oh, so when it's a negative, it gives me a negative. The second thing is you just can't rote learn this stuff. You've just got to get used to navigating around that unit circle and thinking. Okay, that's the only way this can be done. And so again, if you've got several of those wrong or couldn't answer these questions because you don't understand it, you need to go back to the drawing board. You need to come and approach me and let me know.